folks, and welcome to Subjective Thoughts. And our comic for today is Shadow of the Golden Crane, Issue 4 by Dark Horse. Now, there is fighting, magic, the spirit, all sorts of demon and monsters, and, vampires apparently too. So if you are in any way squeamish, you have been warned. Also, spoilers. Alright, here's the team. So, finally, I have gotten to the final issue. Actually, I received it not too long ago. Shadow of the Golden Crane. I must say, this miniseries started promising and then just kind of went downhill. Not as bad as Miss Tuesdale and the Fall of Hyperborea, but, yeah. Well, we'll get to that in the end. Alright, so let's start. So when we last left off Susan, she was just finishing up another job. Another, seeing people that were in the Shadow of the Golden Crane Society. And then I think she got a call from Victor saying that he and Hellboy need help, I think. At least I think. It's been quite a while. But yeah, I think that's what happened. Alright, so we start this issue with Susan arriving to San Francisco. That's where Hellboy and Victor are waiting for her. Now, she can't just call a regular cab to get to where they are, so she calls her sister, whose name I forgot. But anyway, she calls her younger sister, who was happy to see her, but she didn't expect it to be like that. And she tells her, "You must come see the kids, they miss Aunt Susan." So, she drives her to where she's needed. They're just talking. I think it's more about the magic stuff. Then she jumps out of the car because they see Hellboy being thrown around. Linda. The sister's name is Linda. She tells Linda to drive, get away. And then Victor approaches Susan. He grabs her by the jacket and said, "Okay, I came here to help Hellboy. This thing suddenly attacked, and now there's more of them. Here's this knife." He sits down holding the two broken pieces of the knife, and he tells Susan, "Here, you take care of this. I need to go help Hellboy." And he has his gorilla spirit go out. And then, there's, these, Chinese vampires, the undead. Looks like they're referred to as vampires. So he goes to fight them. Susan takes the two pieces of the knife, holds them, and then, as always in these issues, we get a flashback. This time we go all the way back to the start of the whole Golden Crane thing. So, a long time ago in China, I don't know what year, I don't think they say a year, there was a lot of this evil demon lord, and he summoned all these other monsters, and they were terrorizing the nation. And so, apparently the Golden Crane is this magical spirit. And this spirit summoned, how many? Let's see, 2 woodcutters, 1 dancer, a hunter lady, a monk, and a thief. 6 people. Summoned them all and taught them how to capture these demons, these evil spirits, what have you. And that they needed to go and protect and save people. So they went, there was this big fight, and they basically entrapped all of the spirits of the demons, the vampires, the monsters they fought, into everything. Basically all the stuff that in the last previous issues Hellboy, Susan, and Victor have found. Like hairpin, and anything. And a lot of the stuff that were used. And then finally there was just the Demon Lord, which they also needed to capture. And the dancer lady, she captured him in her, like, small dagger. There we go, so that dagger. So that's it, but then the spirit of the Golden Crane told them that their job is not done, that they must continue doing it, and so on it continued through the generations, but as it went, they heard the voice of the Golden Crane less and less until it disappeared into legend, basically. So there was still the Golden Crane Society, but it was just a society, and they didn't believe the Golden Crane was ever real. Then maybe. Then we get to Susan, who so that the two pieces of the dagger show her this, but then they move to her own memories of when she was a little girl, where her uncle came to see the family in San Francisco, told them stories about the Golden Crane Society, and then when he thought everyone was asleep, he snuck out into the streets of San Francisco with a sword. But little Susan was not asleep, and she followed him. And they apparently came to San Francisco to track down a man who has gotten it wasn't a dagger, it was a sword. Just a short one. The sword of where the spirit of the Demon King was in. Demon Lord, Demon King. So, he started fighting him, but he did manage to summon some vampires. Of course, little Susan was amazed. And then vampires were counting on to attack her, but her uncle jumped in front, told him to leave her. She's under his protection. And he tells her, "Can you be a brave little girl for Uncle?" And she says yes. So while he's fighting the vampires, old Susan sees that the other guy is going to grab the sword again, so she's like, at that moment I knew I needed to do something. I wasn't even thinking. So she runs, she grabs the sword, and then the spirit of the Golden Crane talks to her and tells her that one day a time will come when she'll know what to do. Which brings us back to the present, where she knows how to not defeat, but get all these creatures. So she's like, I know what to do. She goes to Victor's backpack. She digs through it, gets a thermos, and captures all of the vampires, the monsters, everything, until the very last one. So finally, things are calm. Everyone's defeated, and then we go to Linda's house, where they're at the dinner table, and she asks that I tell you the story of how my sister had an imaginary ghost friend, which apparently was the family's dead cat that Linda could see the spirit of. So Linda could always, Susan could always see things, basically. Because in the beginning, they also talk about how, she occasionally goes out in the field, but this time she volunteered. And then, I think we see, I think Hellboy, when they look to the side in the kids' room, Susan's niece and nephew, she tells them the story of the Golden Crane Society, and how, she tells them everything, and then she does what she does here, where she does a shadow puppet. Oh, shit. Shadow puppet of the Golden Crane. And then, what was it again? Yeah, what was Hellboy fighting? It was kind of like a little bit like a gorilla, but it's not. Okay, just a moment. Okay, yeah, no, they don't go in, but they just look to the side, and then she's telling them about the golden crane. You hear the voice calling you, and that's it. That's the end of the story. Okay, so first of all, the cover. It's a nice one. I like the imagery here of Susan showing that would be her niece. Telling out the story, and then you got Hellboy looking on. That's kind of a nice scene. Okay. Sorry. Alright, there's Linda in the car. There's Susan. This is San Francisco. And they are driving. Yeah, I said before, the art is decent enough. Nothing to write home about, but at least it's on Miss Tuesday and the fall of Hyperborea. You see, that's what he's fighting. Okay, now for the story. So I gotta say, the story ended up being, well, disappointing. Like, it's not bad, but... Okay, I know there are many ways to tell a story. And you don't necessarily have to go in a certain order each time. But this kind of feels like it's disconjointed. And like, you feel like naturally, because in the end of the first issue, Susan wants to tell them about her uncle, right? And you feel like that this is what would happen here. The next issue, we would learn about the uncle. If he was in the shadow of the Golden Crane Society and this happened, you think already Susan would remember it all. But it just went the first 3 issues, we just went through her seeing the past of the shadow of the Golden Crane Society, in between missions, and in the last issue we get finally the story with the uncle, and then just kind of ends with her showing her niece and nephew. So it's just what does it mean? Does it mean that it runs down the generations? But then a lot of the old members of the Golden Crane Society were not necessarily even related. What I'm trying to say is it feels like they wanted... Robinson wanted to tell several stories. I don't understand why things like these get such short series. When, something like this, you want to tell about the old past of the Golden Crane Society, and then about Susan, you need more. You need to expand the series and actually go into depth about it. 4-issue miniseries is good when you tell, one linear story. About, they should have had, the miniseries about the past of the Golden Crane Society and then up to the future, where it ends with, with Susan. Not this, where it's just, you'll see some of the past, some monsters in the future, and that's it. It feels like it was supposed to be way more. But the way it was told, it was just nothing there. The Golden Crane Society sounds really, okay, and I get why it's called Shadow of the Golden Crane now, but, then it should have just been with the past and then ended in the future with Susan. Maybe the last issue would have been, instead, Susan, remembering about her uncle, or, the 3rd issue would have been, half of it would have been about the uncle, and then Susan, in the last issue, we would have seen older Susan now remembering all of this, and then capturing the whatever monster in the thing. And I feel like that would have just made more sense. Because the way it goes, honestly, don't get me wrong, it's a nice enough story. You can sit and read all 4 issues and it's enjoyable. But like this, there's just no real substance in there. We get very little about the Golden Crane Society. And we get some, but how did they meet? How would they do things? We get nothing of that. And we get very little of, obviously now it's not as sparse, but how does it go? Does it go the Golden Crane Spirit just talks to the next members, or does it go down from generation to generation of families? I wish it just had a clear direction there. But it doesn't, and it's sad because it's a waste. This could have been a very good story if it was just expanded upon or went in a different direction. If you hear any talking, that's my dad and grandma. But anyway, it's not. It's just disappointing, basically, that it didn't go any more than this. But that's about it. That's all I have to say. I definitely, because again, it had a promising start. I thought this would be way better, but it is what it is. Well, that's it, folks. Let me know what you thought about this one, if you liked it or not. And that is it. Remember, collect what you're passionate about and share it on YouTube. Bye!